Hi, I'm Corey. Welcome to Creating with Scraps. Earlier today I had shared a video using this super blue gun bluing to change metal to a darker color. And when I showed it, I had my thumb over the danger. So I want to make sure I point out that read the caution, follow the directions, be safe. I apparently should have been wearing gloves and been more careful with touching this. So just be aware. If you're going to use it, give it a try. It's worked great so far, but just be extra cautious. Okay. All right, so this video is transparency pockets two ways, and it's a double transparency pocket. And I'm sure there's many people out there that have done it. I just haven't seen it, or if I've seen it, I haven't, been aware that I've noticed it. And it came about because I had got this packaging in the Tapeology unboxing that I did a few videos back, and this packaging was really cool, and it had a little bit of collaging on it, and I thought, oh, I'll use that some other way. And I have a piece of dried baby's breath, and then I put some tape and transparency over the top, and I made a pocket. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if the pocket was see-through all the way? And so I started playing with that. And this is a double transparency. Sorry, the glare on the transparency. So I can put something in the pocket behind it, and I still have the flowers sandwiched between, but I've got a pocket. So a pocket here and then a pocket in the back once I put it in my book. And I started playing with that a little bit. And that brings me to what a couple people said they saw today. And that is this one. I was going to show how the metal looked so much different. Like if this was a plain bright silver metal. Well, this one's kind of dull. Oops, I already did that one. Well, let's go with plan B. Okay, so how it just changes the effect. If I'd used a bright silver metal versus the one that I'd made more vintage or oxidized. Okay, and then again, these are double transparency. So I'm able to tuck something in the pocket, and then you've got a pocket here and see the image or the flowers or butterfly or what have you through it. And so the first double transparency I'm going to show you, and this is just a belly band I made for a longer album that I'm working on. So I'll put it down here and then lift up, and there's just a tearaway bit, but you've got two pockets on the front that are double transparency pockets, and I will show you how I make those. Now I sew them simply because I like to sew and it's easier, and I've got Goliath here because my other machine something's wrong with it and it needs to go into the shop. So if I mess it up, I apologize. But my machine caught on the other one. And the way I do it is I get two pieces of transparency the same size, and I put the dried flower or what have you. And what I've got here is earlier this year, I used my press board that I press paper with. And when I find flowers, I'll just put the flowers in between it and let them sit for a few days. And then I save it to use them when I need them. So I've got the two pieces of transparency cut to the same size. I've got the flower in here, and then I just take a little piece of washi. Let me zoom in a little bit there. Take a little piece of washi to hold the flowers in place where I want them. Yeah, something like that. And then I'll put the other piece on top, the other piece of plastic, and then you can see where my machine gummed up there. There's some holes already. And then I line these pieces up, and then the way I get them to stay together. Now I'm only going to be sewing the top here. That's it. So I'll hold them in place, and then I'll use some lightly tacky tape to hold them while I sew just the top. And this machine is much louder and it's huge. So I apologize in advance, and I'll see if I can adjust so that you can see it. Oh, maybe. There we go. Okay, maybe that'll work. So I'm going to sew just along the top. Now your machine may have different settings. You may have to adjust yours to sew through transparency. I've not really done it much with this machine, so I'm just going to say a little prayer that it works okay. Okay. Well, it worked, so that's a good thing. It slipped a little bit, but that's okay. That's a fixable thing. So you can see right here, it slipped just a tiny, well, maybe you can see. I'll move this over, and move this back, and zoom back out. There we go. You can see it moved just a tiny bit. So I will trim that now. you can use a paper trimmer of this, but you can see it wiggled a little bit, and that might be my machine because I didn't have that problem with the previous ones. All right, so it's sewn just along the top. Then I remove this. And smoosh that in a little bit. It's a little wide. There you go. And then here's the piece I'm going to sew it on, and I'll lay that down here, and I'll use the purple tape at the place that I've already sewn, and it also keeps me from doing something silly. And I will put that down there, and then I will sew along the 3 remaining sides. And again, I'm not going to show you that because you saw the first one. And again, Goliath and I are still learning each other. I don't know Goliath very well. It's a big machine. Yeah, it's slippery. The feed dogs don't work as well as on my the other machine that I'm used to, or maybe I just have a learning curve. But well, we'll figure this out. I have my mom's other machine. I may try that one. My mom goes through machines, not because she wears them out, but because she tries to find ones that she likes. Yeah, this doesn't sew transparency super great, but it's working. I just have to be a lot more careful. My other machine, I didn't have to be as careful. Okay. But it worked, so I shouldn't complain. And it does have a really deep, so if I'm working on large paper or a large project, it's got a deep arm, so I can put things way back. All right, and that is my pocket. And you can see, because I'd already sewn this, oh, that's too big. Well, what the heck. You can see this would, if the tag was smaller, here, I'll use this piece. I'll tuck this in and show you here. So I've got the double transparency pocket. Okay, so that's the first way. And you don't have to sew. You can use washi. You could, like here on this one, I could use washi along the top and then washi on the sides and just glue it. Because you can see here the machine went off the edge. It doesn't like that slickery surface, I suppose. So I could have used washi all the way around. You know, washi the top first and then put this in place and then washi all the way around. So that's an option. Okay, and then when I was playing with that one, I thought, well, wouldn't it be kind of fun to have a double window? So I've been enjoying putting double hidden inserts, double hidden spines in inserts. And this would be the very, very center. So you've got the insert that you've, sewn in and glued in. And I would sew this down in the center of my insert, right down here. And once it was done, the whole signature was done, I would close it up, glue it up, right? And this is the center piece of my signature, okay? And so I thought it would be kind of fun to make a double-sided pocket for this. So out on the front, you can still see, well, this case it's dried wood or dried birch bark, or maybe it's birch. I don't know. It's dried bark of some sort. And you can see here where as on the other side, when you flip it over, because again, this is the center of a signature, you've got just your tag or whatever your image is. And in this case, this woodland paper. So I would have, the background here, and then when I flip it over, I would have the birdie image or some such thing. So I thought I'd show you how to do that too. It's just another option for the piece that you're putting in your center hinge or center insert. And I did a couple samples. I did this one on the side, but you could certainly do it on the top as well. This one is on the side, and I just use baby's breath. So you can see if there's nothing in there, you get baby's breath on both sides. But if you do have a tag in there, then you've got the baby's breath and then whatever's on the back of the tag. Now this purple tape doesn't stay here permanently. It's only there to make sure the flower doesn't move around until I'm ready to sew it in the signature. And then when I sew it in the center of the signature, I would just take the purple tape off. I just did that to hold it. And this works. I sewed the washi on afterwards, but you certainly don't have to. You could just use regular washi and make sure it was glued down. And that works just fine. Here's the same idea. Again, this is where the center would go in. So I've got dried daffodils on both sides, but I put the the pocket on top. So you've got your journaling card or whatever you want in your pocket here, and on the back you've got whatever your image is. Like this, if this were a daffodil postcard, I'd have a daffodil here and then a place to write on the postcard here. And you don't have to use washi. You can use paper if you want to, and do it like you would a seam binding or a ribbon, I suppose, but that would be really, really slick. But again, you know, you've got the flowers here, and then you flip it over and you've got whatever's on the other side. And so I'll show you really quickly how to do that. Maybe I will. I moved everything and I buried it. Oh, here you go. I knew I was going to show one. Those all had either washi and or paper. This one is just sewn. There's no washi or paper. You can sew it just on the transparency. And this one has a top opening. Maybe it has a top opening. Okay, come on, Corey. There we go. So right here, I would have whatever image or cluster or what have you. And on the back, I've got the dried baby's breath. All right, to do that, you need 3 pieces of transparency. And you know what? No, I don't want to use the washi. You do the same thing with the washi. Basically, you take your two of your pieces of transparency and you sandwich your baby's breath in between. Okay? You sandwich, oh, sorry, I'll move that up. You sandwich your baby's breath in between. Now, I like to use washi to hold this, and I'll show you what I do. Just because it holds it in place pretty nicely while you're sewing, and you don't have to worry about your flowers flipping around. So I just put a little piece of washi, and then I'm going to put that washi right here. And I will put the transparency on the top, right? And I have to decide, do I want it to open at the top or do I want it to open at the side? I think this one, the last one we opened at the top, so this one I'll open at the side. So that means I'm going to sew it just down here, and I'll use a piece of purple tape, maybe a couple pieces of purple tape, to hold this in place while I sew it, because it is really slippery. It is not super easy to line up. And again, I'm learning this machine, so I apologize if it doesn't sew straight. And, or if it's, not as cooperative as it could be. I'm sure the machine's just fine, and I'm sure it's absolutely operator error, but I just haven't learned it yet. Okay, let's see. Please work. I just have to hold it tighter, I guess. Okay, so that now I have that third piece of transparency. I am going to sew straight down here to make a seam. Now, or if I wasn't using the sewing, if I was using washi, I'd put a piece of washi just on the same exact side on the single piece. I sewed the double pieces together. I'm doing the same thing on the single piece. And I'll show you why in just a minute. Okay. All right, so I've got the seam for both of those, right? And again, you can see it wiggled a little bit here, but that's okay. That's an easy fix. I did a better job on this one, or the machine did a better job. Okay, then I untape it. Here it's sticking out the bottom a little bit, so that's an easy fix. Just cut that off. Oh, you know what? I probably shouldn't be using these scissors. These are my thread scissors. That's probably, I'm going to be sorry later, but there you go. All right, now I've got these pieces, and the reason I sewed this is I'm going to lay these two back to back just because I like the way it looks with both of them sewn. So when I'm done sewing this, it'll give it a nice finish here on the front of the pocket, and it'll give it a nice finish here on the back. But before I sew these together, because I put washi there, and it's going to the back of the washi is going to show through. So what I'll do is, this is the front and it's sandwiched in between, right? I'll grab another piece of washi about the same length, because this is going to be the inside of the pocket. And I will, oh, that didn't make that the same length. Well, let's try that again. Okay, piece of washi here. And I'll lay it over so that it's the front of the washi showing whichever side I'm looking on. Okay, so I just put that piece of washi on the back of my sandwich. Now I will take the other side of the piece that I just sewed. Okay, now I've got washi stuck to my fingers. Okay, take this transparency off, and I will lay these two next to each other. Remember, this is going to be the piece that I sew into my signature, so I'll put some washi there to hold it in place. And then whenever I'm ready to put my signature together, I usually have this laid down on my desk when I do it, and it seems to adhere better, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so I put it there, and then I'll put another piece here to hold it in place. And now what I'm going to do is just sew these two sides. Okay, just the top, well, in this case, the top and the bottom. And let's hope the darn thing cooperates again. Looks like these stitches are really tight. I might have to loosen the strip length on the stitches. So there you go. There is the one side, or the top, and I'll do it down here on the bottom. And they're not perfectly lined up, so I'm going to bring my stitch up just a little bit higher so that I can trim that off, because they're not perfectly straight. And I got it all gummed up. Okay, well, let's just keep moving along. Okay, you can see I got it all gummed up there, but that's an easy fix. Well, sort of easy fix. I just kind of pull the strings and cut them loose because it's nice and snug. I guess on this machine I have to hold it a little bit tighter. Well, live and learn. And then you can see on the bottom here, I came up a little bit higher on this side. Oh, heck. There we go. You can see it's not perfectly straight. I'll just use my, oh, there you go. I'll use my paper trimmer, and I'll just trim this piece off so that the two match before I put them in there. And now I just take this off, and this again will be sewn into the signature at some point. Right? It doesn't need to have that much purple tape on there. And I've got a pocket. And that's how you do the double transparency pockets. Again, if you're going to washi it, washi the two pieces together and then the one single piece, and then hold that in place, and then put washi around the other piece, the other sides, and you'll get the same effect. And make sure it's a good sticky, strong, gluey washi. All right, thank you for watching. I hope that gave you a couple ideas. I hope you give it a try, and thank you very much for your kindness and your support. I really appreciate it. Take care and happy creating.